I tell you, Jen, I am so pumped to talk to you because I've never interviewed you personally because I always get John, which I love
Yeah.
John. I love John every time. So I'm always he's so gracious. After all these years, he's always the best guy to interview. But I tell you, I am such a huge fan of you and your voice. I mean,
Ah,
your voice is so stellar, and I'm so glad to interview you. And I'm so pumped that you have your own project and your own thing.
ah.
So, um,
Wow, that is like so kind. Thank you so much. I'm like, now I'm all like pumped. So much. That's really sweet of you.
and you know, I have three kids in their 20s, and they all have very different music taste. And Skillet is one of the only bands that they all three like at the same time. It's the only way I
Oh,
could.
that's awesome. Yeah,
It's one.
bringing families together and
Yeah,
skillet for 20 years.
there you go. That's one of the only times I can get all three of my kids at the same concert with me. You know, and I had more questions for you than any other band that I was interviewing for Winter Jam. Um,
Oh man, wow.
and I had them from around the world. So one of them I had to translate from French. So
Oh,
I was like, this is awesome. So
how incredible. Yeah,
I'm gonna kind of use the fan questions for the interview because actually
great.
a lot of these questions are questions I wanted to know. Um, and I'm gonna start it with my son Alex, who is such a Skillet head. I mean, he's so totally a Skillet fan. He wanted to know when and how did you first join Skillet?
Yeah, this is a great question. I actually came to America when I was 16 years old, and I came basically to do it's a program called the Living Light School of Worship, and it's a 9 month music discipleship program. So I came over thinking I'd go back to England 10 months later, but I ended up staying in America for another year, and it happened to be when the previous drummer Laurie Peters was leading the band, and so I went to this Living Light Church, is the same church that the Coopers goes to, and I was best friends with Corey Cooper's sister. And so they were holding auditions, and little did I know, I got a text from Rosie, who's Corey's sister, saying, "How would you feel about trying out for Skillet?" And I honestly had become quite like I was like the insecure teenager, so the idea of performing in front of people made me want to die. So I was like, definitely not, no way. But then
Aww.
as I was praying about it, I just really felt like God was sort of saying that I was meant to go try out for Skillet. And so I went and tried out for the band. I was 17 years old, and they'd already auditioned like session musicians and professional players. So I knew it was like a long shot that it would ever be. But I knew after praying about it, I was at least meant to try. And I wondered if God would just like teach me some sort of a character lesson through it. And I had no idea. I never imagined though that I'd actually get the role. And after my audition, I remember doing the interview with John and Corey, and they were asking me questions about myself. They were asking me if I was going to be busy in the next few weeks, if we had to do a second audition. And I was like, no, I'm busy one day. It's going to be my birthday, but the rest I'm free. And John Cooper's like, oh, how old are you going to be? 21? And I said, oh, no, I'm going to be 18. And I remember his jaw just dropping. He was like, if I had any idea how old you were, I would never have let you audition. And so it was almost like a really cool
That's a
timing
God
moment that I
thing.
ended up
Yeah.
being in the right place, the right time. My natural instinct would have made me not want to try out because it had been too scary to me. But here I am now talking to you all these years later, and it's been an awesome, crazy journey.
Well, and you know, funny story, I met your brother at a festival here. I got to talking.
What?
Yes, is that weird?
Yeah.
He was here subbing for I want to say it was We Are Leo, and
Yep, that's right.
I'm friends with the band. So
Incredible.
I was just talking to the band, and I said, "Who's the new guy?" You know, joking with him. And
Yeah.
he said, "Actually, this is Jen Ledger's brother." And I was like, "What?" And so
Yeah.
I got your brother's attention for a while. I was like, "Oh my gosh, you have to tell me like all about you. Like this is so cool." And he was just so kind, and he was so nice. He was fun. I
He is.
Isn't that funny? That was
Yeah.
just a random
I
thing.
love it. It's actually the whole reason I started playing circle, and he's
I
like
have.
one of my they're my brothers and my sister and my family are like the biggest, kindest supporters in the world. So it's awesome, and he's such a talented drummer. It's crazy.
He is. He was doing a great job.
Yeah, he's amazing.
So this is a question from someone in France, and I'm not sure how to say their name, but I think it's Arnaud Barreau. And they want to know, they say in France there's not a lot of, info for them to get as far as interviews and things. And they said, what is your favorite concert memory? That's hard, right?
Yeah, that's a tricky one. I mean, I've got a few different ones that sort of pop up in my mind. I would say one of my favorite concert memories is playing on the Disney Castle.
Oh,
just
wow.
because, I've grown up seeing it in movie after movie after movie. And then all of a sudden, I remember one year, Skillet was playing, headlining on the Disney Castle in Florida. And I remember Disney actually programmed fireworks that would match up with our show. And you could imagine that their kind of production is on an entirely different level. Disney doesn't do things on the cheap,
Yeah.
And so I just remember playing on the castle at Disney and just having these gigantic fireworks going up with the music that we were playing. And I just remember thinking, man, my whole goal was to be a hairdresser, and here I am on the Disney Castle with all these, what is life, You feel so stunned with what God can do with people and how he's just a God that can do impossible things. And so that was pretty surreal and pretty special for me.
There's another person in France that I'm not sure how to say their name either. It looks like Jaxa. I'm not sure. I feel bad for this, but they wanted to know the history of your wrist tattoo. What does it mean?
Yeah, mine are actually really personal. My one on my left hand I got because, as I said before, I didn't actually want to try out for Skillet because it scared me. And when I was praying about trying out, I felt like God highlighted the scripture from Isaiah 41 to me. It's like, do not fear, for I have called you. I will make you strong. I have called you from the ends of the earth. And basically, I will be with you, and I will hold you by your right hand. And I felt like through that scripture, God was telling me to try out for Skillet. And so sometimes, if I do get nerves before stage or if things feel big or scary, I just remember the fact that it's God that helps me do everything. He's the one that's brought me here, and kind of the whole reason I'm playing. And it just puts things back into perspective for me. And I thought it'd be a great reminder to have with me at all times.
Julianne Trammell wants to know, have you ever dropped your mic in the crowd on accident, especially during Hero?
I haven't yet, but now that you said it, I'm sure it's going to happen.
No, I don't want to put your fear in you now.
Yeah, I'm not. I've had lots of mishaps on stage. I've given myself bloody noses. I've hit myself in the eye.
I can imagine.
With the mic, but that one, I have not had that happen just yet, but there's still time.
Now, I do have questions like Sean Guerrero wants to know if he can take you out for dinner. I'm assuming that's a no.
You can answer that one for me.
Yeah. Jonathan Sapp said, who's going to sing John's part in Warrior on Winter Jam?
Yeah, it's gonna be such a bummer not to sing that song with him. I'm just gonna sing
the whole thing.
When we initially wrote the song, I did just sing the whole thing, but then I was kind of like, wouldn't it be amazing if John sang with me? And then, of course, it was so cool that it's hard to go back to how it was. But yeah, just for Winter Jam, I'll be singing it on my own.
And you know what? Your voice is such a great juxtaposition with his. It has such it's almost like an angelic, but this high pitch that it is so crystal clear. It is such a beautiful, combination. I tell him when he sings, it sounds like he's gargling rocks. I don't know how he does it, but it's fascinating. Yeah. He could read the dictionary, and I would still want to rock to it.
It's amazing. It's like it's got three tones all at once, doesn't it? It's incredible. Yeah, it is awesome how mine's incredibly clear, but then his has got like such a warmth and a rasp to it. They do. It's cool how they blend together so well. But thank you for noticing. That's super kind.
Okay. The same Arnaud Barreau wants to know, are you going to change your hair color for 2019? And what color?
Right right now I'm not planning on it, but I always do it completely impulsively. So I have no idea.
No
If
idea
I do
yet.
It will be like a 3-hour decision, and then it's done. Yeah.
And then Lucy wants to know, what song do you enjoy performing the most as a singer and drummer?
Let's say, think about it. Probably "Awake and Alive."
I love that one. Oh my gosh, that's one of my
It's
favorites.
a beautiful song, isn't it? And it's so empowering. And I kind of sometimes, oh, you know what though? I also love Resistance. That's tricky. Between the two of them, I don't know. Those are my top two. They just, I find them so empowering, and I always feel like I can't believe I get to do this for my job. This is so cool.
And to clear it up, you are not leaving Skillet. This is a side project, correct?
Definitely, yeah. Let's keep that clear. No, definitely not leaving Skillet. And not only that, the new Skillet music that is going to be coming out in 2019 is honestly some of the best I've ever heard. Skillet's going stronger than ever, and it's just fun to see all these different avenues where, you know, John Cooper's got his side metal project, I've got this side project, and then we've got the Skillet album coming out, which I think is just honestly going to make the Panheads incredibly happy. Think of it as more music rather than anything else.
You know what made me and my son super happy is knowing you're going to go on tour with Breaking Benjamin. Like, we flipped out when we saw that. We were like, what? Like, that's going to be incredible. Oh my gosh, they are so good. So Jen, oh my gosh, you have no idea how much I adore you, and I was so pumped to get to talk to you because I'm so in love with your voice, and your brother was awesome, by the way, and so I'm glad to finally meet you. You're amazing, and I will tell you this. I can't pick a favorite between Bold, Not Dead Yet, Warrior. I don't have a favorite. I don't. Like, every single one of them is on point, and I'm so proud of you. I think you're doing a fantastic job, and I just cannot wait to see you here in Michigan on Winter Jam in both January and February.
Oh my word, so cool. Well, thank you so much. Well, maybe I'll get to meet you anyway, and I'm sure we'll have a lot more. And thank you for caring. That's lovely.
Absolutely. Well, you have a blessed day.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, have a great day too.
Thank you, Jen.